Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. It's so good to see you. And so, first of all, today we're going to talk about Herbie Hancock and his 1974 release, Headhunters. And I did buy the record in '74 when it came out. I had previously bought, I believe it was 72 or 3 when Sextant came out. I bought that as well. I heard it on the CBC radio. Used to play classical, and they were playing that. But maybe it was called Brave New Waves or something at the time. But anyway, they played Herbie Hancock Sextant, and I heard that, and I went out and bought it. Then a few years later, the year after or so, Headhunters came out, so I purchased that. Now, this is a lot more accessible. This is kind of a new age jazz funk. And the Sextant is more of a new age avant-garde kind of jazz. So this is a lot better, in my opinion, a lot better record. And of course you can see though, this is the Analog Productions reissue. And it comes on the beautiful Stoughton jacket, though it is a single cover on here. But this sounds fantastic. And this is the 33 and the third. And when Analog Productions releases their records, they always release the 33 first. And then in about, 3-4 months later, they released the 45. So I bought it right when it came out because I love the record. I wanted to get the audiophile version. So I got this, and it's reported now the 45 is better than this, which, you would assume so, but this has got all the fidelity that I need on this record. This is a fantastic sounding record, and it might be something that you might like. If you're not familiar with it, of course, you can go on YouTube and have a listen to that record and see what you think. This is one of those classic, records that's lauded by many, many folks as one of the important records to have in your collection. It's not for everybody, of course, but I've had it for, 50 years, and I love the record. Fantastic sounding record. Okay, another record I've had for 50 years. Not this particular copy, because this is the OG Japan press on the glam rock pink OB. And this is a gatefold record, which it did come out as a gatefold when the OG. But this record, for all the David Bowie records, they all have some good, RCA makes some good sounding records back in those early 70s. But this has got some really well recorded piano on Time and Watch That Man, Aladdin, Sane. Those really have a lot of great piano on it. And it's just a really, really good sounding record. Even the original RCA sounded fantastic. And one of my favorite records, so I sought out the original Japan press because I wanted that little bit of extra fidelity that I could get. Because they did reissue these records now, but they reissued them digital. So I wanted an all analog pressing, so I wanted to get the original. And the original Japan, to me, sounds fantastic. And it is a nice shiny cover. It's just a beautiful package how the Japanese make their records. Really, really nice. Got a nice insert in there as well with the lyrics. Really good sounding record. Okay, now we're going to talk about Frank Zappa. And this is Apostrophe, of course, 74, I believe. This always was on the Discreet label. It was Frank Zappa's label of the day. And it always had really good sound on it right from the get-go. But they did a few years back, they reissued it, got the original master tape. Bernie Grunman remastered it, and they pressed them in Palace, Germany. And I did a review of this record when it came out, And I found out that that original Discreet record was good. It was pretty close to this, but this did better it on all the really good audiophile parameters, right? It was a little bit cleaner sounding, better cymbals, bass was a little more defined. Frank's voice was more holographic, but not by a lot of degrees, because that original press is really good sounding. But this is better. And again, same thing here. This is Overnight Sensation. And again, this is one of those Palace presses, and they did put it on the gatefold like it was originally produced. And again, this is out of Palace. And I had the original as this as well. And this one sounds better. It's a better record. The new Palace pressed records, now they are, Bernie did remaster them. So that they got that going for it. But I just wanted to say these records are really good sounding records, above average sounding. And it's not, Beethoven or something, right? Or some jazz record or whatever. These are rock records. The Eagles, The Long Run. I'm not the biggest Eagles fan, but this is an original Japan press, and I probably bought 7 or 8 of these out of Japan and sold them on my on eBay. And this is a nice gatefold press, gatefold cover, I should say. And it's originally on Asylum Records, but this has got a couple of songs on here. The Disco Strangler and Those Shoes. I really like those 2 songs. And this is a really good sounding record. Like a lot of Eagles records, they do have good sound on them. But this one especially, I kept it because I said, those couple songs on there, I really like them, and it sounds really good. A great sounding record. Here you go. The Edgar Winter Group, they only come out at night. Now, this was never originally on a gatefold, but Friday Music redid it, and it was remastered by Kevin Gray. Now, when this came out originally on the Orange Epic label, this was always a really, really good sounding record. And I remember back in the day, I'd have some of the boys over from work, and I'd put this on and crank it up, and they'd start playing this, and they'd be looking at each other like, well, what's going on? This is amazing. This thing sounds great. But now Kevin Gray got the original master tape. They remastered it, put it on this nice gatefold, and it sounds better than even the Orange Epic did. Really good job. And a great, Frankenstein's on this. If you're not familiar with that song, have a listen to that. Fantastic. Here's another one. This is Joe Walsh. And this is the Smoker you get. I forget how it got the OB on there. It's got a funny title, right? The Smoker you drink, the player you get. And this is on the original Japanese press again, on the ABC. Now this one, when it came out on the ABC Dunhill label, it's one of those records, and I think I watched somebody's YouTube channel years back, and they had mentioned that this record was really good, that it sounded fantastic. So I went on eBay, I bought the ABC Dunhill, the original press, I got it home, and fantastic. This sounds so good. And it's a really good song as well. I remember my friend Paul, we used to go over to one of his friends' place. I really didn't know them well, but every time we went there about 4 or 5 times, and every time we went, he'd play this record. Every time we went over there, he'd play this record. Because it sounded, I think he wanted us to be impressed at how good his stereo sounded. And he'd always play that, and it sounded fantastic. So I went out. Now this is the original was not a gatefold, I don't believe. No. But look how nice that is. Comes on a nice big gatefold cover. Here's the back of it. See what label it's on. It's an ABC Records. This is on the ABC Records label, not the ABC Dunhill label. And I think it's been reissued by Acoustic Sounds too. I think this got such a good tape. You know, it sounds so good. They reissued this as an audiophile record as well. But even just the original record sounds fantastic. Great sounding record. And here's another one. Cat Stevens. This is Teaser and the Firecat. This is again on that A&M record label, the brown A&M label. I think it came out on. Fantastic sounding record. Those early Cat Stevens records on A&M, if you get the originals, they sound fantastic. Now this reportedly was listed as a half-speed master. And I think this up here, right here, it says half-speed master in Japanese on it. But it's just a beautiful record. It's a pebble cover, textured cover, front and back. Comes on a gatefold sleeve. And it is an absolutely fantastic sounding record. And it's got some really good songs on it as well, right? Morning is Broken's on here, Moon Shadow, Peace Train. Lots of good stuff on this record. Here's another one. Everybody knows about this, of course. This is Steely Dan Aja. The original pressing of this on ABC. Really good sounding record. I don't know what label they've got this one on. This is the original Japan press. Again, it's on the ABC Records label, the original label, the original pressing. And I did have a reissue of this, and that I had about years ago. And then I found out how much better the original pressings of the Japan records sound. You get the bass is there, you get all the highs, but it's not bright sounding. And this one sounds phenomenal. This record sounds so good, I have no wish to go and buy a UHQR. This is how good this record is. It's on a nice big gatefold cover, mint condition. You know, a lot of these records, you can get them out of Japan. They're basically pristine. The records surfaces with that JVC super vinyl, there won't even be one hairline on the record surfaces because they're so resilient. And they just sound so good. And that JVC super vinyl is like the new formulation that MoFi's come up with. Their super vinyl is really quiet. And it might even be the same thing. Who knows, right? But this record is one of those great sounding records, even if you just have the original pressing from ABC. And here's another one. This is the OG, Dreamboat Annie by Heart. I did have, I think it was a half-speed master. I had this record. And I compared it to the original Canadian pressing, and this Canadian pressing was far better than that half-speed master that I had bought. Now this one comes on a nice gatefold cover. But the cool thing about it, in Canada, it was issued on Mushroom Records. That's about the coolest label. The Swirl's pretty cool, but I really like that label as well. Speaking of the Swirl, I was just thinking today about doing a video on my favorite Swirl records. Because over the years, I've had many of those Vertigo Swirls, but I haven't kept a lot of them because a lot of them, to me, they just not that good. They just didn't make the purge, but I thought I'd do a video of the ones that I did keep. And so this one again, if you can get the original pressing of Heart, one of those audiophile sounding records. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that cool YouTube stuff. And thanks for sticking around this long. And don't forget to leave me some comments about what you think. If you've got some of these records, how they sound to you, or if you've learned something today, let me know. And bye for now.